Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anyone and everyone, Brian Von VA back at it again with what was the worst thing that happened to you when you first started GMing? Be me, new GM. Be not me, human fighter, dwarf barbarian, human paladin, scarecrow, warlock. Haven't heard of that one. We had a group that ran their games in the same homebrewed setting, with like 30 players and 3 to 4 GMs. Well, I've GM'd before, but still fairly new and not for this group. My quest is that we are teleported into the city that's under siege by orcs to try and rescue some guy. Have no intentions of helping the city because, well, it is pointless. Half of the party just makes the preparations for the operation, while the other half is just chillin'. Warlock and Paladin both get the brilliant idea to go out of the city into the forest infested by orcs alone. Warlock gets nearly killed by the patrol of druids, that just summoned like 30 wolves on his ass. Paladin declares that he wants to challenge the chieftain. Get him to duel, one-on-one. Paladin refuses to heal himself with lay on hands because it is not how it works in WoW. Oh my god. Fucking dies. And his body later discovered by the party. My face when I nearly killed half the party in my first game. My face when I get the reputation of being a ruthless GM. Why? I'll tell you why, because you're playing with jackasses. First time GMing, want to fix up this system the way I wanted it to be. Balanced, but a bit more powerful so I can have big numbers and roll a lot of dice. Old DM who became a player steps on my toes for literally every decision I make. That isn't, leave the system alone, just play raw. Later on, recommends to me that I should use these house rules instead. Then says I'm stealing her house rules. Oh god. Every map I make is criticized and rules lawyers the monsters I throw at the party. Asks for stats and then proceeds to look up the monsters. Ended up bullying another player out of the game because his character wasn't broken. I check out at this point and let the rest of the party, well, who was worshipping the old DM at this point, run rampant. Give them a generic lich boss and let them have their victory. Never talk to those people again. This is the gist of it. It's a lot worse, but these are the main points. Hey, I'm proud of you for at least sticking it through and then leaving. You deserve a better experience. Ooh, I had a fucked up experience as a player for a first GM. Party composition largely unimportant, save for me playing specifically heavyweight Cajun gator folk. I don't know why, that's just cool. GM hooks us a quest to find some missionaries that vanished on a pilgrimage. We go down to the road that they were supposed to be on, looking for clues. Find broken wagons, shredded horses, bodies of a few guards, but it doesn't look like the work of bandits as there's still valuables around. The tracker leads us to the foothills, ominouscave.exe. Search inside and find the missing priests huddled around some candles in a side room. Untie them and start heading out. Sudden lightning rips through the party, chaos ensues. Find out we're under attack by a bear. It's absolutely butchering the casters. 2 teammates down, we decide that this is beyond f***ed. Staying grouped up is just letting it hit more of us. So, it's every man for himself. Run! Get bit and grabbed by the bear. Party takes this opportunity to get the f*** out! GM decides that my character is swallowed whole and that their bear disengages and retreats deeper into the cave. Party is basically out of character, no hard feelings, and I get ready to write up a new character. GM narrates that the party returns to town and that they prepare for a memorial service. Then GM starts talking about what happened to my character. Starts asking for roles to struggle, talking about how the bear uses its many hands to rub itself, feeling me inside. Goes into talking about the digestion and how satisfied the bear was. By this point, we're all bailing out of the call. GM starts sending DMs on Discord telling me that the bear's digestive system is so efficient that it's able to store me as fat without any waste. Ask him what his problem is, and he tells me that I thought I was a furry, so he wanted to have a special game with me and explore a fetish he thought we'd hit it off over. That's called vor, and this is why I don't like furries. I don't. 2 of my players woke up half the apartment complex with their shouting at like 5 a.m. and almost got into an IRL fistfight due to the fact that one of them got butthurt because he believed that he deserved more XP than the other. We were 15 though, and it was the very first RPG session for everyone. In the end, they were calmed by my pissed mum rushing into the room and telling us that it was the crappiest session she had ever heard. She played a lot at uni. She shared some good tips, though. I like your mom, and I kinda wish I knew a mom like that, too. 15 years ago. Friends show interest in doing a D&D 3.5 adventure. Decide to write my first game, a homebrew involving an invasion from the Far Realm. Create maps, NPCs, grand plot, all from scratch. Feels good, man. Party of 5 starts at a tavern, gets wind of a problem at the local druid's grove. Need to solve a riddle to find the druid dead in a secret chamber, and roles lead them to the trees placed at the room's walls. Our party's druid casts Speak to Plants. Cool, she's got the hang of it. Starts rubbing herself against the tree in an attempt to seduce it. I awkwardly laugh in hopes of moving on. Druid starts describing how she's using branches as pleasuring tools, inserting the tree into herself while the rest of the party watches. The other players fucking love it and cheer her on both in and out of character as she describes how she gratifies herself with the tree. I tell her that's not cool, and I don't want childish porn fantasies in my game. Other players boo me and just start describing how they sexually abuse plants and characters from the tavern they previously talked to. I tell them all to fuck off and leave. Party calls me a sourpuss. Didn't play a TTRPG again until a year ago. Yeah, that would scar me a little bit too, because honestly, that's not cool, man. You don't want to do that. That's borderline harassment for some people. Hey, be me. New GM, 5th edition, because, of course. Run for friends, a single shot, it goes well. Second, not so much. Cleric dwarf, rogue human, cleric drow, and barbarian human get teleported into a tavern. In retrospect, I know it was over pretentious for what was basically my first game, but hey, I learned my lesson. A magical tavern outside of time and space, although characters will find this out a little bit later. Shit, that sounds bad. Anyway, actually, I kind of like that idea so far. Bar maiden and, at the same time, tavern keeper pours them some drinks. You look in the mugs and you see your favorite drink. Be it some mushroom wine from the depths of the Underdark, the most expensive water-deep champagne, or just some strong beer with a huge head. Anything your character considers his or her favorite. The dwarf goes quiet. What is it, big guy? Did I put some wrong ingredients in there? Where did you find the milk of a dwarven cow? What? In a goddamn .jpg? We transported it from a dwarven city. It's impossible! It spoils in 4 hours! Rolls insight to check if she's lying, although I didn't say him anything about a roll. Succeeds. Something's wrong with this place. Spit the fuck out what you want or I'm leaving! Meanwhile, his, ass-backwards friend, because we're not going to say that word, Rogue, just spills the fucking beer on the floor because it respawns back in his mug the moment he blinks. He does that 7 times in a row. What in the fuck is going on? .png? Barbarian and Drow are quiet because anything they're trying to say is always interrupted by these two. This lasts for an hour. Tavern Keeper decides she's had enough of this shit. Creates a simulation of a quest. They get transported to the gloomy alley in some major city. Halfling approaches them and tries to give them a quest about saving his daughter from orcs nearby. Simple as that, right? Right? They, everyone except the barb, try to kill the halfling. Rogue, crit fails, punches his friend instead. As a brawl begins, these 3 guys are rolling to attack each other. Barb barely manages to calm them down by saying it's all a simulation. Ho ho ho! And that this alleyway has the same vibe as the tavern. And also accepts the quests and actually persuades quest giver to give them more money. Motherfucking MVP right there, baby. We go to the orc base. Barb says that he's had enough of this shit show and leaves the channel. I say the same and leave. All this lasted for 2.5 hours, and if I'd go into details, this text would have been 30% longer. Never again, I might have said, but decided to make a new, normaler campaign with the same people and a little bit more, except for the barbarian. His love for fantasy shut down a month or so after this failure, and he started playing IRL campaigns. Some of them eventually left, but the drow cleric, now being the barbarian, is still there, and we're all having a good time. Hey, you only learn by doing, am I right? Dad plays D&D with his friends, so I end up friends with his friends as kids. They invite us to their new campaign they will start in several months, starting at like level 3. We decide to play our characters up to level 3, then they fall into a portal or something. Start campaign. I am DM, and will have to introduce my character as a DM PC. PCs get caught in a rainstorm with water elementals heralding the first adventure. Find unconscious dwarf, my character, in rainstorm. One guy says, "Okay, I'm gonna go over there and sexually assault him, and then come back." We were just teenagers, but still, what the f***? That was 12 years ago, and I'm still playing that character. He is level 27 now. The sexual assault guy left the group, but the rest of us still play. I'm not the DM anymore, obviously. Yeah, that person has some screws loose. I hope they got some help. Be me, new GM trying to start with Pathfinder 1st Edition. High five! The group consists of Dwarf Barbarian, Human Paladin, Human Cleric, female character played by a dude, Human Monk, Tiefling Wizard. Later, they were joined by the Elven Wizard, female as well, player as a guy, and Halfling Bard. My first try at GMing, want to please every single player with my style. When Elven Wizard comes to the party, she explains that she has a split personality disorder. The player is a terrible anime trope enjoyer for sure, but I thought he may have some good ideas. Instantly cringe with all my being, but allow it. Kills a blacksmith for calling her girl and telling her to search for a staff at some magic store. Doesn't use magic while fighting the main villain boss, instead uses her stick. It breaks. Whines that she's useless when she has fucking firebolts and magic missiles. They don't want to interact with the NPCs and speaks with some random anime-like phrases once in an hour. That sure is interesting. I wonder why, haha. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Drops out because of an inner conflict with another player. That face when I had to make up a whole plot arc to explain this character's psychic problems and give her a proper conclusion. Somehow, everyone got satisfied and overlooked this. Well, we had some fun after all. Be me, DMing D&D 5th edition for the first time. I've only played a few sessions before. Couldn't find anybody who would accept a newbie player. Oh, I'm sorry. Apparently a newbie DM is fine. Asked everybody what day they want to play. Friday or Saturday? Everybody says Friday. Ping everyone. It was an online game saying we're having it on Friday. One guy doesn't answer. Well, I hope he saw it and just chose not to answer instead of him ignoring it. Day of the game arrives. He is completely radio silent until the end of the day. Bro, what the f***? We had to cancel the session. You weren't there. You said either Friday or Saturday. I chose Saturday. I explained how he should have told me that. Yeah, well, f*** you. My friend Luke always waits for me when I'm late. I don't have to put up with this shit. Leaves the game. Campaign falls apart. The end. Ah, the smell of entitlement right there. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Please make sure to stay happy, hydrated, healthy, and of course, leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below. What was the worst thing that happened to you when you first started GMing? All the love, please be safe, be happy, be healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.